Some days I wake up and I just have a cloud over me. One of those days today. Maybe it's the wind. Just warning you. You can speed up the video, but it'd be really handy if there was a make happy button on the video where you could boost the presenter's mood. But we'll go with it. Probably the best time to make a video is when you don't feel like chatting. But it's important to make this video because I would like to make some progress on the Cub Cadet tonight. It's taking up space in the garage. I'd like to get it out of here, and I'd like the next time we mow our yard to be with the riding mower rather than the walk behind. Earlier today, I installed the spindles and blades on this mower deck. They operate smoothly. They ought to operate smoothly. I'll demonstrate if I can figure out how this works. There we are. This part attaches to the engine. Spins them right around like a record. Before we install this, I'd like to do some investigation and maintenance to the engine. A lot of you fellers who listened to how this thing sounded in the previous video said it sounded like valve noise to you. So I hope to adjust the valves tonight if we can get that far. We only have about 20 minutes before we have to leave for a tennis match, which should be interesting in the wind. It's windy.
Oh yeah.
And that may contribute to my mood. We'll switch to
You should take a video of me.
We'll switch to your audio too so they can hear how windy it is. You're beautiful.
This is not bad. Earlier today.
Well, let's get to work on the old Cub Cadet.
I feel like Medusa. That might be bad.
By the looks of it, I think it was used without restraint. I don't think it was abused, but nobody made any excuses for this. It was nobody's baby, even though it is just a cub. But one way to get some idea about how it was treated is to look at the air filter. So that's the first thing we'll do.
Have you seen it?
No. We're all witnessing this together for the first time.
What do you predict?
I think it'll be a little bit dirty, but I don't think animal nests and dirt and leaves will come out. I don't think it will be completely crusted over. I think it'll be fine. I don't think there will be any surprises.
Yeah, how bad can it be in 90 hours?
So that's the clean side. So the engine is still sucking clean air. There's the carburetor intake. Flip it around, see how it looks. Worse than I expected. That might be the original air filter. I don't think we could see any daylight through there. So, I may just invest in a new air filter. I will invest in a new air filter.
You're not going to just blow that out?
No, these paper filters I don't think are cleanable. I couldn't put this back in with good conscience. We're going to be taking things apart tonight and in future videos. And I mentioned that with these long one-take videos, it's a challenge because I don't like silences. But when I'm unscrewing a screw or taking something apart, there's space. And I don't want to edit either because I've decided I'm against editing. So what we're going to do is Camera Girl is going to feed me notes about things to talk about. So if I hear something, if you guys hear her shout out something, that is a note for me to elucidate on. Over the past 5 years, I have been jotting down maybe, I don't know how many years. I said 5 years, but I don't really know. For a long time, I've been jotting down ideas that I think are worth sharing.
What are you looking for?
A purpose. When I can think of an idea, when an idea comes to me that I think is worth sharing, I type it into my phone notepad. And I've got a list of them. Some of them I look back on later and I think they're silly. Some of them might have some value. But in any case, I have a list of notes over there. Just keywords for Camera Girl to shout out when I've run out of things to say.
Next time I'll write them on the palm of my hand.
What we're going to do now is take off this engine cover because to access the valves, it needs to come off. And I've read that one terrible problem with the Kohler Courage engine is that the engine case bolts that hold the engine together loosen up over time, and those bolts are right underneath the spinning flywheel. So they loosen up, literally, they loosen upwardly towards the spinning flywheel, and the flywheel will catch them and break the engine block. Catastrophic failure. And since this one has not failed catastrophically, it's the perfect time to see if any of those bolts are loose. And if they are, we'll tighten them. And it will give some credence to something that I've heard repeated on the internet more than a couple times. The internet says this engine is trash. Hit me.
Rats. It's the only one I can remember.
I try to be honorable, and I try to be thoughtful, sympathetic, but given the right circumstances, anyone will act like a rat. If you're hungry enough, you become more and more selfish, in my opinion. I feel lucky I've never been in that circumstance, but I try not to judge people who are in a really tight spot. Maybe they're homeless, hungry. I don't know what I would do the more desperate I might become. If you become desperate enough, you do what it takes to breathe your next breath. I think it even might become instinctual. You don't even think about it. If you're in a tight enough spot, you claw out of there and you don't care who you're clawing against. So the value in that thought is that, first of all, be careful how you judge people. And also, there was something else. It slipped my mind, though. Be careful how you judge people. Well, that's good enough. If I think about the other thing.
Have empathy for others.
That's a good one in general. Oh, one aspect of it is it's very easy to act honorable when your belly's full. It's really easy to act charitable and noble when you're comfortable. I think some people are nasty and they don't act that way regardless. So that's rats. Was it worth sharing?
I was interested in it.
I can take that one off the list now. We've got one more bolt to remove.
Well, do you want another idea?
Yeah, go ahead.
R.I.P.
That's a good one. I've stopped saying may you rest in peace. May she rest in peace. That's silly. I feel there's a good chance that in death, a very unlikely situation in death is that they are resting. We say, may they rest in peace, like they're just laying there for all eternity. There is a definite possibility anybody that's ever died is so far beyond anything the living could ever even imagine. It's complete silliness to refer to that state as resting in peace. What a strategic and handy pointer that just appeared in my hand.
Don't forget to wrench or we won't make it to tennis.
So I've stopped saying, may they rest in peace. Of all things that they may be doing, I don't think they're resting. We've got a zip tie that I need to clip over here.
I would suspect that some religions believe that the afterlife is resting. So maybe that's where that originated.
For all eternity. Resting?
Yeah.
I hope not. I say for all eternity. Time very well could cease to exist at all upon passing along into the next realm. So we've got a zip tie here. Maybe more illuminating than anything I've said so far is the fact that a feller can reuse a zip tie if he takes a razor blade, opens up the little lock mechanism.
Ooh.
Without slicing his hands open. I'm trying to save 5 cents here with this zip tie.
It's a nice short one, too.
Anyhow, we'll take this engine cover off. See what it looks like. I don't know if we'll get to the valves, but at least we'll look at those engine bolts. Do I have to take the fuel tank off?
Aw. We don't got time for this.
3/8 bolts. This is my first time working on lawnmower tractors, and I'm not impressed. I feel like I'm back in the horse and buggy days. We've got everything loose. Simple machines.
No one was twisting your arm to buy this.
Levers. Wheel on axle. No bearings in the wheels, just wheel on axle. Makes me appreciate Japanese motorcycles. I hope there aren't any lawnmower fans out there who I just offended. There may be a beauty in how cheaply and simply these machines are designed, manufactured.
Plastic gears?
It's a twin cam Kohler engine, but they don't tell you that it's a twin cam with plastic cam gears. I told camera girl that. She knows it's not how it ought to be.
I was dismayed.
You're coming along. What was I looking for? 3/8. 3/8. It's probably already over here. I tried to get most of my tools
3/8.
close by, but my 3/8 escapes me. You might have to read off another item from the list. I can't find 3/8. Maybe I'll use a millimeter equivalent if I can figure out what it is.
Towels.
Oh, towels. I got out of the shower a couple nights ago and hung my towel up.
Oh.
And she came in and said, "This towel stinks." And I said, "I know, but what do you expect me to do about it?" Hung it back up. So she took the towel and replaced it with one that didn't stink. And it's not the worst stink that you may imagine.
The whole bathroom stunk.
It's a mildew, moldy stink that I don't think is my fault. I just have a bigger body than anyone else in the family, so when I dry off with the towel, all that wetness, it just sits there.
You're also the hairiest, and you choose the smallest
Yes,
towels.
I'm hairy, so this is like sponges. And when I dry off, it's almost more than the towel can handle. So it gets wet, and maybe it never dries, and that's why it gets stinky before other family members' towels. And it made me think, why do people hang up the towel in the most humid room of the house? There should be a designated towel rack just adjacent to the bathroom in a dry area of the house. It would give them a much more arid environment to dry out. If that were the case, you would not have had to suffer that story.
That was a great story.
I'm being serious about why do we put towels there? It's so moist in the bathroom, so humid.
It's convenient, and we're lazy. It's tradition.
Towel racks should go somewhere else than the bathroom.
Above your wood-burning stove.
Right above the wood-burning stove, that's right.
That nice smoky smell. That would have been better, though.
So that's all about towels. I don't know if this method is working of talking about unrelated matters because it slows me down.
Haven't gotten very far.
Luckily, one of the bolts that holds the gas tank in place was already missing. Lawnmower tractors, Cub Cadets anyway, are inch size fasteners. I mentioned in a video some time ago that very few things use inch fasteners anymore. I couldn't think of anything except hardware stores sell them. You can buy a 1/4 inch bolt at the hardware store, but lawnmowers use them. That must be it.
Yep. Hope you turned the gas off.
I don't think there's a fuel valve on here. Hopefully,
I guess not.
Hopefully I can just wiggle things out. There it is. These are the bolts I was talking about. Boom, boom, boom. I think they're all accessible, but maybe they wouldn't be, because if they're underneath the flywheel, maybe it's just this one that's underneath the flywheel. I'll put a wrench on there, see if they're tight, see if they're loose.
Chop. We're almost at 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, we won't get to the valves, but we will get to the bolts.
The bolts look fine to me. I think they're tight.
I do too. I think that certain ideas get perpetrated and populated, or what's the word? Popularized more than they ought to be. Are we dealing with metric now? Maybe, okay, it's like your old Dodge. The chassis is inch and the engine is metric. That's great. So we do need a 10 millimeter for it. Good luck finding that. Oh, here it is.
Maybe I'll get you a case for Christmas. A case of 10 millimeters.
So here we are. Tight. 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 Did I do this one already, or did I do that one?
I think that one.
We'll just
not
make
this
our
one.
way tight. And the ones that matter here, we'll put a wrench on them, but we're fine. Use a wrench there too. Are there any back behind? Couple. So, I feel good about that. Don't need to worry about these bolts loosening up.
Yeah.
They're all tight. One more to go. Just for completion's sake, I will check this last one that's hard to get to. Come on. Yeah, tight. All right. So the sandwich of the engine is tightly held together. Looks like we have an all aluminum engine. I think it's about a 600 cc. The valves are underneath of here. That's what we'll work on the next time we focus on this mower. Something I do like about the Cub Cadet is that they list replacement parts right here on the hood.
Handy.
And the hood is easily removable. So there's a few positives. Thanks for watching.